If you are a fan of sports or if you watch any type of ESPN, you saw the altercation at the end of the Michigan-Wisconsin game. I do believe, Katie, I know you're in the chat. I think they did come down with a suspension of some sort.
Did they?
On Juwan Howard. I'm not sure. I was reading something right before we went on here, so I'm not sure if they did officially come down with it, but I believe they did. But there was also a couple players that threw punches after that. I mean, what do you have any thought on that? Or
that's tough, man. I mean, I obviously saw it. It's something that's massive. Anytime a brawl breaks out like that, it's kind of a big deal. I think it is on Juwan Howard. I mean, he's the coach. I understand that the other guy put his hands. I mean, he put his hands on him. Juwan Howard said something, obviously, pulls his mask down and says something to him, and then the dude kind of is like, "Hey, you're not just gonna say that and walk by," almost, and kind of puts his hand on his stomach-ish area. But then my thing is if that's the guy you're mad at, he actually hit another guy.
Right.
So it's not like that's the guy that put hands on him and then he hit him. He hit a different guy. So, and I mean, I know things get heated and stuff, and obviously they were both talking because the other coach, you can see clearly is saying something back to Juwan, but it's tough in that situation because you're heated. You just lost a big game, but you're the role model. You're supposed to set the example. So I think he's going to get hammered for sure. Obviously, it looks like that he has. And then obviously all the players are going to defend their coach. So they're going to jump in. It sucks because they're going to get in trouble for it. It's just an unfortunate situation that I think Juwan Howard's going to take the brunt of it.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. And I mean, let's be honest. A couple of things are at play here. First, last year they were, leading the Big Ten. They were dominating. This year they're 14-10. And they're on the bubble. We don't even know if they're going to make it out of. They're going to have to win the Big Ten tournament. We don't even know if they're going to make it out of the Big Ten to actually get into into March Madness. And let's add a little bit more context. The game was a blowout. So late in the game. Yeah, it was like a 14-point lead, but with 30 seconds left, the Wisconsin coach called a timeout. So obviously, a lot of people say whatever, however they feel about that. Definitely something that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, it's unethical. It's not. It's not illegal. It's not like you can't do that or whatever. It's just you shouldn't. Because it's disrespectful is what it is, right. And so obviously that's what he was mad about. But being disrespectful never lead to that.
It's still not ever an excuse to act in the way that he did. And as for that other guy, because for me personally, because my first thought is just go by him. Just go by him. And he kind of stopped him. Then that other guy came in there and said, what he said. And see, at that point, Juwan Howard had actually kind of backed out. And then he kind of came back into it. And I was like, man,
that's why it looks bad on him, because he was getting pushed back and people are pushing him back. And it sucks because, they're doing handshakes. So everybody's right there. There's just so many people if one thing pops off, you can't tell who's pushing what and who's doing nothing. Right. And he's getting pushed back, and then him coming forward to throw that right hand. It was open hand, so it's not like a full-on punch, but still, obviously, hits the dude in the face. So it's you got to absolutely set the example for your kids that that's not what you're supposed to do, because as soon as you throw it, then all the kids think it's cool, and then it's game on. Because if I'm the Wisconsin's player and I see your coach hit my coach, now I need to defend my guy, and I'm going at you. And so it's not. It's got to be on Juwan, just because he's got to be the one to set the example. Unfortunately, he threw the first punch. I get he got his hand put on him, but he said something. Talking's talking. As soon as you throw something, that's when it escalates, and he was the one to throw something first. So
absolutely. Anthony said, nail on the head. Sid, got to keep your cool as a coach. Absolutely, and unfortunately, history kind of doesn't play in his favor. He had a situation like this a year ago, where he kind of got into a mini little altercation with one of the other coaches. So he's been through this before. And when you have stuff like this, obviously the immediate reaction is, oh, here we go again. And, and they totally overlook how well he has done.